I love the rods, all of them. My favorite continues to be that John Cruz deep cranking rod. I use that. I mean, I'm finding more and more applications for that rod every time I fish it. I love it. Obviously, for deep cranking, it's a phenomenal rod. It's in the new Icon series. It's super light sensitive, but that extra length and that action is just tremendous. Obviously for deep cranking, but I use it for square bills. I use it. This is one of the sneaky ways that I love that rod is lipless baits in the pre-spawn this time of year. Because those fish are in the shallows, they're trying to get shallow, and with a shorter rod, you've got to burn it a little bit harder, and you need to slow that bait down. That extra length allows me to crawl that lipless bait in shallower water than I can do with another rod.
With the tip then.
I'm controlling it with the length of that rod.
Yeah.
And the square bill's the same thing. My casting distance is phenomenal. So I'm using it in shallow water. I see a lot of Bash University. We are live at the Classic. Yeah. No, that's one of my favorite rods. The whole John Cruz series is amazing. The new Icons are amazing. We were just fishing with them down in Florida. We were doing, as a matter of fact, I was featuring that rod in the dialogue, but I was talking about 3 ways to get through a cold front. And I was using a spinning rod and of course that rod, but really great fishing rods. And we were talking a little earlier, John's dropping another special rod in his line.
He really is. So the whole premise with the John Cruz Signature Series was to take what Cashion offers in our Icon, our base models, and fill in some of those gaps, right? So John is a stickler for the details.
2-time Elite Series champion, by the way, John Cruz.
1 and 2 times. Hopefully we're going to get a Classic. We're going to add a Classic to
champion.
that. I would love that. But John is so dialed into the details. And we were filling in those gaps with the John Cruz Signature Series. So every time John comes to me and says, hey, we got to add this rod, or I'd like to look at adding this rod, I'm like, oh. I take a second, I have a pity party for myself because I know that, okay, now we're going to have to design an all-new blank. I know what's involved in that, but then I get over it because I love doing that, right? It's a lot of work, but he's a great communicator. We're able to bounce ideas back and forth off of each other, and we're able to dial in exactly what we're looking for. And that's why we're able to release it, new rods here at the Classic.
Yeah.
The John Cruz Icon swim jig rod.
What?
Swim jig rod, right? Yes. And we were talking about it. If you're in the South, especially, and I know you travel all over, but if you're in the South, you got a swim jig tag.
Yes.
It's a staple. It is a staple. In the throughout, when the shad spawn comes in, that's my favorite time to fish swim jig, right? But you're going to have it tied on throughout the summer and so forth. And so it is an absolute staple. And John was like, hey, let's add this rod. This is a staple that everybody will always have tied on, and they will leave that bait. They will leave that tied on all the time.
And the information Bash University provides isn't your basic run-of-the-mill fishing video. This is specific information from A to Z to help you learn, get to the water, and become a better angler quickly.